All right, you're 19 years old, a Roman bride. Congratulations, I suppose. It's 89 CE under Emperor Domitian. Your name is Flavia, daughter of a respectable household, and tonight Rome is about to teach you what marriage truly means. Not the saffron veil, not the walnuts tossed through the air, not the songs, the laughter, the cheering in the streets. The other part, the part no one writes down. You're barefoot on cold marble. The floor steals the warmth from your skin. Torches spit and hiss along the walls, smoke curling toward painted ceilings. 7 witnesses stand behind you, rigid and silent as statues. They aren't here for beauty. They aren't here for joy. They're here to make sure you do exactly what a Roman wife is required to do. And no one thought to explain the details until now. Of course they didn't. You step forward toward the wooden figure in the corner, draped in cloth. Your hands tremble so violently you tuck them into your sleeves to hide them. Every eye in the room follows you. No one looks away. No one offers comfort. Your mother's voice echoes from this morning. Do not resist. Whatever they require, do not resist. Now you understand why she cried while braiding your hair. Rome never pretends otherwise. Marriage isn't romance. It's transfer. Your father signed you away. Your husband accepted delivery. You are the property. The contract is the ceremony. Your body is the receipt. Welcome to adulthood. Roman style. Outside, the crowd is still roaring. Men shout crude songs into the night, laughing loudly because Rome insists laughter drives away evil spirits. Maybe it does. Or maybe it's just an excuse for grown men to shout instructions at a terrified teenage bride. You decide. Marcus Petronius Rufus, your husband, 25 years older than you, carried you over the threshold earlier. It was supposed to feel sweet, protective. It didn't. It felt like a demonstration, a reminder of strength, of ownership. Brides used to be dragged inside whether they wanted to enter or not. Tradition softens, but it never disappears. Now the doors are shut. The noise fades. The silence is heavier than the shouting ever was. You finally take in the atrium. A pronuba, the senior matron who oversees the entire night. A priest. 3 female slaves holding basins and folded linen. A physician with a leather bag resting near his feet. And in the corner, waiting patiently, the draped wooden form. Strange how crowded something private can be. The pronuba grips your hands firmly, like someone steadying a skittish animal. Her voice is controlled, practiced. You are now in your husband's house. Translation: you belong here. She guides you toward the draped figure. The witnesses shift slightly, close enough to see, far enough to deny intrusion. Rome loves witnesses. Rome trusts nothing without signatures, sworn statements, and people who can say, "Yes, I saw it happen." There are rules to survival here. You learn them fast. Rule 1, lower your head, close your mouth. You pull away the cloth. There it is. Mutunus tutunus, a fertility god rarely spoken of directly. Carved in wood, unmistakable in shape. There is no symbolism to hide behind. No poetry to soften the meaning. His purpose is clear. The pronuba's voice lowers. You must ask for his blessing. Offer yourself as tradition requires. Mutunus tutunus was Rome's deity of fertility and sexual initiation. Ancient writers mention him only briefly, and always with discomfort. Centuries later, when Christianity rose, St. Augustine described the ritual with open outrage. Roman brides, he wrote, were required to perform a seated offering involving the statue before their husbands were permitted to approach them. You freeze. The room waits. The pronuba leans closer. You must do what is required. Your stomach drops. Your mother's warning clicks into place. And here's the truth no one told you. This isn't symbolic. It's procedural. The first step in verification. Pause for a moment. If you're still here with me, take a second to like and subscribe. Because this descent into Rome, it's only beginning. Now back to the atrium. The witnesses step nearer. The priest murmurs a prayer. The physician adjusts his stance as if preparing for his own part in this machinery. You understand something painfully clear. You are not here to be honored. You are here to be confirmed. The pronuba repositions you with efficient hands. No privacy, no softness, just instruction and observation. They call it sacred. But it feels like bureaucracy disguised as religion. Rome will never admit this out loud, but every ritual tonight exists for one reason: proof. Proof you were untouched. Proof you obey. Proof any child born from you belongs unquestionably to your husband. You are not a partner in this marriage. You are evidence. The pronuba gives calm, measured instructions. She has done this dozens, perhaps hundreds of times. Whatever emotions once lived inside her have long since been sealed away. The witnesses lean in, not to help, only to record. Your knees tremble, your cheeks burn, you comply. Because Rule 2? Refusal carries consequences, and Rome never pays them. Women do. When it's finished, the slaves move quickly. A bronze basin is brought forward. Warm, scented water pours over your arms as if rinsing away the moment, resetting you back to neutral. You're still shaking. No one comments. The priest mutters another prayer. Even he sounds bored. Roman religion is a checklist. Gesture, smoke, words, done. Your body just became another item crossed off. Then the physician steps forward. He's older, hair tied neatly back, leather bag within reach. He doesn't greet you. Why would he? You're not a patient. You're documentation. He examined you earlier, before the ceremony. That record, confirming your virginity, is sealed. That was the before. Now he requires the after. The pronuba nods. The witnesses shift. You stare at the floor and detach as best you can. The physician works with cold precision, detached, efficient, like someone inspecting cargo. To him, you are not a frightened girl on her wedding night. You are property being verified. He finishes and delivers a brief clinical statement. A slave scratches the words into a wax tablet. If your husband ever disputes anything, if he drags you into court, these 7 people can testify to every second. You want to scream. You don't. Screaming was never one of your options. The pronuba announces the preparatory rituals are complete, which means the true ordeal hasn't even begun. They guide you toward the bedchamber. The door remains open, intentionally. Oil lamps burn bright along the walls. Their flames don't flicker. The shadows stretch long and deliberate, like the house itself is watching. This isn't intimacy, it's surveillance. Marcus steps inside at last. He doesn't look at you immediately. His eyes flick toward the pronuba instead, almost nervous, as if waiting for instruction. That surprises you. You expected confidence, authority. Instead, he looks like a man about to take an examination he didn't study for. You sit on the edge of the bed. The linen feels rough beneath your fingers. You try to steady your hands. They refuse. The pronuba speaks in a formal tone she has likely repeated for decades. The gods have blessed this union. Let the marriage be consummated according to the laws of Rome. The words fall like iron chains settling into place. Your heart pounds against your ribs. Everything before this was preparation. The real verification is about to begin. The door stays open. The lamps stay bright. Marcus finally looks at you, not with tenderness, not with longing, but like he's checking whether a delivery arrived intact. Welcome to Roman marriage. Romance optional, verification mandatory. Marcus lowers himself onto the bed beside you. The wood frame creaks under his weight, loud in the stillness. In the hallway, the witnesses shift, close enough to hear every movement, every breath. That's intentional. Rome doesn't leave moments like this to chance. The pronuba clears her throat, not a suggestion, a signal. Marcus inhales sharply, as if bracing himself. For a fleeting second, you see something almost human in his expression. Not cruelty, not desire, pressure. Because here's the cruel truth no one explains to either of you. You're both trapped in this performance. He must prove himself capable. You must prove yourself compliant. The witnesses must confirm it. Everyone has a role. No one is allowed to fail. He reaches for your shoulder, hesitant at first. His hand hovers, then settles, awkward and unsure, as though you might splinter under his touch. You don't shatter. But something inside you folds quietly inward. He keeps glancing toward the doorway, toward the pronuba, toward the faint outline of the physician's shadow behind her. It's as if he's waiting for instruction on how to proceed, as if consummation is an exam and he's terrified of missing a step. You lie back because there is nowhere else to go. The sheet scratches against your skin. The air feels thick, hard to breathe. Your pulse roars in your ears, drowning out whatever Marcus whispers, something meant to soothe you, perhaps. You can't hear it. Your body has narrowed down to survival. The pronuba steps forward briefly, inspecting positioning with professional detachment. Yes, that part is real. Then she steps back and nods, like a teacher signaling that the test may begin. Marcus moves stiffly, carefully, the weight of 7 witnesses pressing invisibly against his spine. There is no tenderness here, only obligation wrapped in ritual. And eventually, awkwardly, quietly, he does what Rome requires. The room doesn't relax. No one exhales. The witnesses listen for signs, not emotional ones, not human ones, legal ones. When it's over, Marcus withdraws quickly, as though embarrassed by how it felt, or how it didn't. Hard to say which. You try to sit up, but the slaves are already in motion. Towels, water, linen. Their movements are swift, efficient, rehearsed. This isn't their first wedding night. It won't be their last. And you realize something chilling. The night still isn't over. The physician steps forward again. Like a man returning to a task, he briefly paused. In his mind, that's exactly what happened. 10 minutes ago, he began a process. Now he will finish it. He doesn't avert his eyes. He doesn't soften his tone. Why would he? To him, this entire evening is a sequence of checks. The pronuba steps aside to give him space. The witnesses lean closer in the hallway. You instinctively pull the sheet higher over your legs. He gestures for you to lower it. You obey. There's nothing left to refuse with. He opens his leather bag. Metal instruments clink softly against one another. The sound alone sends heat flooding to your face. Your throat tightens so severely swallowing feels impossible. Marcus steps back, rubbing his hands together as if he's cold, though the room is suffocating. The physician begins. Efficient, detached, clinical. He narrates what he sees in clipped phrases, speaking not to you, but to the witnesses. Consistent with prior examination. Physical confirmation present. A scribe repeats each phrase aloud while pressing them into wax. This isn't medicine, it's inventory. At one point you flinch, a reflex you can't suppress. The physician pauses, frowning slightly, irritated not by your pain, but by the interruption to his procedure. The pronuba watches with folded arms. Her expression is unreadable. She has seen too many brides to allow herself reaction. Finally, the physician straightens. He wipes his hands carefully on a cloth. Then he delivers the verdict. Consummation verified. That's what they came for. Not your safety, not your dignity, the proof. The witnesses nod, satisfied. The legal transformation is complete, sealed, permanent. There is no reversal clause, no appeal. The slaves begin resetting the room, folding linens, trimming lamp wicks, moving with unsettling normalcy. It feels disturbingly routine, like closing after a banquet rather than standing in the aftermath of someone's childhood ending. The pronuba dismisses the witnesses. Sandals shuffle against stone as they retreat down the corridor, already murmuring among themselves. The scribe snaps the wax tablet shut. Marcus exhales, deep, long, relieved. The sound of a man who has completed the most uncomfortable obligation of his life. You remain seated on the edge of the bed, gripping the sheet so tightly your knuckles ache. Your thoughts feel shattered, like dropped pottery you don't know how to piece back together. Marcus approaches again, slower now. Without the audience, he looks different, smaller, almost uncertain. He murmurs something about rest, about tomorrow being easier, about you having done well. You say nothing. Your voice cannot be trusted. The pronuba orders wine to be brought. Strong wine. The kind that forces the body into stillness so sleep happens whether the mind consents or not. Marcus leaves. His footsteps fade down the corridor. You are alone, or as alone as a Roman wife is ever allowed to be. The door never fully closes. It remains slightly ajar. Someone is always close enough to hear. You lie down carefully. Every movement aches, not dramatically, just enough to remind you. The lamps are dimmed. The house settles into night. And slowly, heavily, the truth sinks in. What happened tonight wasn't the end of something. It was the beginning. The wine dulls the edges but erases nothing. Nothing could. You stare at the ceiling beams. Somewhere in the house, a water clock drips steadily, measuring time the way Rome measures women. Quietly, relentlessly, without mercy. You think you're alone. You're not. A young slave girl sits just outside the doorway, stationed there, in case you need anything. Which really means in case you scream, in case you run, in case you fall apart loudly enough to disturb your husband's sleep. You turn toward the wall. The wine weighs down your limbs, but your mind replays everything. The songs outside, the contract, the statue, the examinations, the hands guiding you, positioning you, approving you. At some point, the pronuba reappears in the doorway. She says nothing. She simply watches you for several seconds, assessing. Have you broken? Apparently not. She nods once and leaves. The door remains slightly open. It always will. Privacy for a Roman wife is mostly a myth. Hours crawl by before the house finally quiets. Lamps burn low, corridors empty, and in that silence, the thought you've been avoiding finally settles. This wasn't a wedding night. It was initiation, not into love, not into partnership, into a system older than the temples, colder than the winters, harder than any law etched in stone. A system built on verification, on observation, on control. In Rome, your body is evidence. Your value is recorded. Your transformation is pressed into wax and preserved in testimony. You curl your knees toward your chest. Even that small movement aches. The sheet carries the scent of oil, smoke, and something faintly metallic left behind by the physician's tools. You close your eyes. Rome does not disappear. A soft sound at the doorway draws you back. Marcus clears his throat. He isn't here to touch you. He isn't here to apologize. Custom requires he check on his wife once more before the night fully ends. He stands awkwardly in the dim light, shifting his weight. Without the pronuba directing him, without witnesses watching, he looks almost embarrassed. Not ashamed of what happened, just uncertain about what to do next. Rest, he murmurs. Tomorrow will be easier. You don't answer. You're not sure you believe him. You're not sure he believes himself. He lingers a moment longer, as if he might say something real. But Rome trained him too. Trained him not to question the structure that shaped him. Trained him to see you not as a person, but as a right, a responsibility, a duty. He leaves. Silence returns, and somewhere in the darkness, you realize something else. Rome verified your body, but it has no idea what's happening inside your mind. Dawn arrives whether you're ready or not. The house wakes before you do. Soft footsteps in corridors, murmured instructions, the scrape of wooden shutters opening to let pale light spill into the atrium. Rome doesn't pause for recovery. Duty resumes at sunrise. The pronuba enters first. Of course she does. Her eyes sweep the room with clinical precision. The bed, the linens, your posture, your face. She isn't searching for comfort or distress. She's checking for completion. Satisfied, she gives a single nod. The transition is official. Slaves follow her in carrying warm water, oil, fresh garments. You are lifted gently but efficiently from the bed, washed again, perfumed again, your hair rearranged, your tunic replaced. Every motion is deliberate. You are being rebuilt, not as Flavia the daughter, as Flavia the matron. The girl who walked barefoot across cold marble last night no longer exists in this house. Rome has filed her away. Your wedding night is over. The rituals are not. There is one final step. The witnesses assemble again in the atrium. Morning light pours down from the open roof, illuminating marble floors that look far too clean for what they've overseen. You stand beside Marcus, not quite beside, slightly behind. The physician reads his record in a steady voice, short, clinical, unemotional. Pre-consummation examination consistent with virginity. Consummation observed. Post-consummation verification confirmed. Each sentence lands like a stone dropped into still water. The pronuba offers her testimony next. Calm, certain, professional. Marcus presses his seal into the softened wax tablet. His ring leaves a crisp impression. Authority made visible. You do not touch the tablet. You are not asked to. When it's finished, the record is placed among Marcus's household archives, the same cabinet that stores contracts for land purchases, grain shipments, outstanding debts. Your first entry in his collection, verified property. The witnesses disperse. The atrium fills with the ordinary sounds of mourning. Slaves sweep dust from the floor. A cook argues quietly with a supplier near the entrance. Somewhere bread is being kneaded. Life continues. As if nothing monumental occurred in the night. You remain standing for a moment longer, watching Marcus tuck the wax tablet safely away. Your transformation is now filed, permanent. As the household slips fully into rhythm, you find yourself drawn back toward the bedchamber. The door stands open. Sunlight touches the edge of the mattress. The bed is freshly made. the lamps extinguished. The physician's tools are gone. Only the memory remains, etched into the air like smoke that refuses to clear. You wrap your arms around yourself, not because you're cold, because instinct demands protection, an instinct Rome never taught you how to silence. For the first time since entering this house, you see everything clearly in daylight. These walls are your boundaries. These corridors are your world. These people are your witnesses. This man is your legal owner, and this body, your body, no longer belongs solely to you. But there's something Rome never includes in its rituals, something no pronuba instructs, something no physician records. Roman wives survive not by forgetting, not by accepting, but by enduring, by mastering the art of quiet resilience, by learning when to speak and when silence protects more than it surrenders, by building strength in places no witness can observe. You take a slow breath. Your life as Flavia, Roman wife, has begun. Rome expects obedience. Rome expects modesty. Rome expects children. Rome expects silence. But inside, deep inside, there is a space no wax tablet can seal, no testimony can access, no examination can measure. You are not silent there. Footsteps approach again. Marcus. In daylight, he looks older, the lines at the corners of his eyes more visible. Without ceremony, without observers, he seems almost uncertain how to address you. He clears his throat. "You'll dine with me tonight," he says, more statement than invitation. "The neighbors will visit soon." Of course they will. Rome will want to see the new wife, to inspect the result of last night's paperwork. He studies you briefly, perhaps searching for signs of distress, perhaps searching for gratitude. When he finds neither, he nods once and leaves. You watch him go. He is not a monster, but he is a product of the same system that carved into you, trained to value proof over feeling, structure over softness, control over compassion. And yet, he too must answer to Rome. He too is bound by expectation. He had to perform last night not because he wanted to, but because law and custom demanded it. You understand that now. Understanding doesn't make it easier, but it sharpens your awareness. A slave girl approaches quietly with a folded garment. She avoids your eyes. You recognize something there. Fear, perhaps, or empathy carefully concealed. You dress, layer by layer, fabric replacing vulnerability. As you step into the atrium once more, the house feels different. Not welcoming, not hostile, simply fixed, like stone. The morning sun climbs higher. Outside, Rome hums, vendors shouting, wheels rattling over cobblestones, distant arguments carried on warm air. The city doesn't know your name. It doesn't need to. You are one bride among thousands who have walked this path. Some broke, some adapted. Some learned to navigate the narrow spaces between obedience and influence. Because here's the truth. Rome never advertises. Roman matrons hold power, but it is subtle. It lives in household management, in alliances built through dinner conversations, in sons raised to listen to their mothers, in daughters taught survival strategies beneath the surface of compliance. Power in Rome rarely announces itself. It endures. You step into the sunlight streaming through the atrium's opening and lift your chin slightly. Not defiantly, not dramatically, just enough. Your wedding night was not about love. It was about documentation, about ownership, about turning a girl into an entry in a ledger. But the ledger does not contain your thoughts. It does not contain your will. It does not contain the quiet vow forming beneath your composed expression. You will survive this, not by shattering, not by screaming, but by lasting, by learning, by becoming fluent in the language of Rome while keeping a private dialect of your own. Slaves move around you. Marcus's voice echoes faintly from another room. The day accelerates, and you step forward into it. Flavia, Roman wife, verified, recorded, observed, but not erased. Rome believes it has measured you. It hasn't. Because in the one place no witness stood, no physician inspected, no pronuba directed, you are still yours. And that, in a city built on control, may be the most dangerous truth of all. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the hidden realities of ancient Rome. If you're fascinated by the lives history tried to sanitize, subscribe to the channel and tell us, what person, what empire, what forgotten story should we uncover next?